is a UTV 44 sports production. The UTV 44 Game of the Week is brought to you by Whataburger.
Week 1 of the high school football playoffs here on UTV 44, and it's the number 6th-ranked Davidson Warriors in 6A, a 2 seed from Region 1, taking on the Fairhope Pirates, a 3 seed from Region 2. Davidson 8-1 on the year. Fairhope comes in with a record of 7-3. Good evening. I'm Jim Cox, my partner Dan Brennan for tonight's broadcast. And Dan, we've seen both of these teams throughout the year here on UTV 44, and we're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks tonight. And this Davidson team who can score a lot of points, they've got a fun one to watch.
They got a great one to watch. Cam Jackson had a great game in the McGill game. They lost right at the horn there, but what a game he had. So if you missed that, get a look at him. 2,159 total yards on the year. Also, he's had 19 touchdowns. He can run it, he can throw it, and he can definitely lead this team.
On the Fairhope side of things, they too will score a lot of points offensively, but they do it a little differently. And we've seen a lot of teams this year take the best athlete on the field and try to get him involved. Well, they really got to do it with Nate Andrews tonight.
They do. Nate Andrews is an exceptional talent. He scored 5 touchdowns the last time these two teams played each other, but that was at wide receiver. He's played running back this season. They've had some problems at quarterback. Andrews will line up at quarterback, and again, you've got the best athlete on the team with his ball in the ball in his hands every play. That should bode well for the Pirates. We've got some really good offensive players in this game, and 2 very solid defenses.
Yeah, that's why they're seated where they are, and they had great years during the regular season. We're excited that the playoffs are here.
We are.
Stick around. We're at Ladd Stadium. Kickoff comes up next. It's Fairhope and Davidson here on UTV 44. Welcome back to Ladd-Peebles Stadium, week 1 of the playoffs. Danny, well, it's been through 10 weeks as we look over beautiful downtown Mobile.
Yes. Hey, swing a moon pie from there later on. A couple of months from now. That made big news. My old buddies, the Commodores, coming to town.
That's right. Week 1 of the high school football playoffs as we get ready for this one. Fairhope and Davidson. No Vic Lockett tonight. We'll get into that later on this evening.
I don't think we need to. That's internal.
And let's get out to the field and welcome in Pat Greenwood, who is here with us tonight. Patrick.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. And the matchup I'm most interested in seeing is the Fairhope offense versus the Davidson defense. Fairhope averaging about 33 points a game. Davidson giving up just about 12 points a game. So that's best on best when we're talking about our area stats. And best on best, that's what we should have in round 1 of the playoffs, don't you think?
Yeah, and it is the 2-3 matchup. You know, we look at what game we want to pick to enter up into the postseason. When you get that first week, you always like to find that compelling 2-3 matchup.
Yeah, these teams have got quite a recent history with each other, too. They've played a lot for teams that are not in the same region. They played twice a couple of years ago. Davidson winning in week 10 and also winning in the playoffs. And then last year, before Adam Weingarten got here, he's brand new, coming down from Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa. But this Fairhope team scored 45 points against Davidson last season.
You don't see Davidson teams give up a lot. They give up big numbers like that. Yeah, this is the 3rd time that these two teams, or 4th time these two teams are meeting in the last 3 years.
Yep. Yeah.
And the last one, as Dan said, was a 45-24 win. As you look at Fred Riley there, all-time winningest coach in the history of Davidson. That's his career numbers, a little skewed. When you look at what he's done in Davidson, he's 88-33 in Davidson and 11-7 in the playoffs at Davidson High School. And really came there, of course, Glenn Vickery started to get things turned around, and then he has really built this program, and it is Fred Riley's program at Davidson.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's him and his staff, and he's got a very cohesive staff, too, that's been with him for a long time. Makes a big difference.
Kick is taken by Rolonzo Rhodes for the Warriors to the 25, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, and the Davidson offense will come out. Davidson, their only loss this season came at the hands of McGill, a game we did here on UTV 44 and might have been the game of the year. 29-28 was the final score. As we look at the starting lineups, Cam Jackson, Dan talked about him just a few minutes ago. He's thrown for over 1,100 yards, 1,000 yards this year, rushed for over 1,100, just a talented athlete. He'll spread the ball around. He's thrown touchdowns to 6 different receivers this year, and he's got a lot of weapons back there. They also can run the ball well. Anthony Douglas in the backfield, back healthy for this team.
They throw it a lot better than any Davidson team we've seen.
Jackson will keep this one. Jackson spins to the 31-yard line. Jackson 6'2", 185 pounds, be going up against this Fairhope defense. They've allowed 21 points a game, so some teams have put up some numbers against them. They got J.P. Sherling in the middle, their leading tackler with 137. Brian Bell is a guy who really gets after the football in the cornerback position back there. 3 interceptions on the year, and when things get really tight, they'll put Nate Andrews back there as well. Jackson waits and dumps it out of the backfield. And Jaquel Craig up to the 37-yard line, and it's going to be enough for a Davidson first down.
You're going to really like watching John Patrick Sherling at middle linebacker 35. He's a joy to watch. But one thing they do, and Fred Riley pointed this out about Adam Weingarten's team, they are fit defensively. Coach Stapleton, defensive coordinator.
Boy, he's been around for a long time.
He's a Baldwin County guy through and through. And he makes sure that they are in position to make plays. It's tough to burn this team. You got to earn it, Jim.
Jackson gives it to Craig, who just had his 7th reception of the season, and moves up to the 40-yard line. 61 carries on the year, 365 yards for Craig, 4 touchdowns, and they got a nice combination back there. They can go with Anthony Douglas, or they can go with Jaquel Craig.
Both guys have been nicked up a little bit too, and this is the first week in several weeks, probably since mid-season, that both guys are healthy enough to go on the same night.
Davidson did not play last week. They were off in week 10, so they've been resting a little bit, and Rhodes is drilled as soon as he makes that catch, and that's Brian Bell. We talked about him just moments ago, but a good covered corner. Rhodes does a good job to hold on to that one with his 21st catch of the season.
Yeah, going to see some smacks tonight. Both these teams are very physical. Again, they know each other pretty well. Jackson gets it out, and look at the response by the cornerback right there. It's going to be 3rd and maybe 2, 2.5.
We're calling a long 3 officially here, or a short 3. Jackson wants to keep it, gets tripped up, hit in the backfield, still alive, and then Sherling finishes him off, and he may have lost a yard on that one, but good penetration by the Fairhope defense. Dre Cheney was in there, number 7.
Big guy. They just really kind of showed their hand. They were going to run power with Jackson, the quarterback, and weren't able to muscle up at the line of scrimmage.
Zach Varney will have to punt. And usually we would see Nate Andrews back there, but Landon Lassiter will fair catch this one at the 21-yard line. And I think just see Nate Andrews maybe trying to limit his hits a little bit here tonight. Look at the other playoff games going on. McGill Tulin, the number 1 seed, going up against our old friend David Faulkner at Enterprise. Fairhope and Davidson, the game you're watching here on UTV 44. Baker and Foley, an interesting matchup in Baldwin County tonight, and Blunt and Daphne with the Mobile and Baldwin County matchup. Pass along well wishes to Coach Glenn Vickery, recovering after the surgery. Nate Andrews on the keeper. Andrews will move it out to about the 23-yard line. Antonio Holmes, the sophomore, made the tackle on Andrews. Andrews just such a great athlete. All-state wide receiver. Last year they move him to quarterback to try to solve some issues they've had there. Odom rushing Watson is a guy to keep your eye on, number 20 tonight.
Yeah.
He's a good player. And
he really is.
And I think they'll look to him a little bit. Probably not going to throw the ball as much as they have and we've seen in the past.
Right, but when Andrews throws it now, again, not that familiar at quarterback, Watson is the guy that he trusts the most.
Give this one off to Ernest Andrews, and Andrews is going to have a first down for Fairhope. Now, Fairhope comes into this game 7-3. They tied for 2nd in the region, but with a tiebreaker finished up in that 3rd spot. Their 3 losses this year to Spanish Fort in week 5, and then those back-to-back heartbreaking losses to Foley and Daphne. And so they finish up the year 11-3. They're 18-6 all-time against Davidson. And the Warriors defense, they got Herlong back. He'd been injured. You get Tevin Brown in the middle, Dante Williams, Pritchard Gardner, and Dorsey. And then Abston, Purdue, MacArthur, and Simmons in the backfield. Ernest Andrews up to the 36-yard line, bring up 2nd down here for the Pirates.
Remember the game against Foley when Fairhope got off to that quick start, 20-0. And offensively, they showed you a lot of everything. Like the circus had come to town. You know, they just ran out of different formations and really confused Foley early on. Andrews got hurt. He's out of the game.
Game changer.
It was a game changer right there. Foley came back and won that game.
Andrews a couple of weeks ago against Northview ran for 7 touchdowns as he stopped here at the line of scrimmage. 7 touchdowns. Actually had an 8th one that was called back for a penalty, but he had runs for 4, 42, 53, 4, 1, 2, and 30 in that 58-23 win over Northview. And Coach Adam Weingartner and a lot of the coaches, I've never been involved in a game where a player has 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, so congratulations on your fine season. Oh, that was a game.
A career.
Yeah. Nate's been at the New Horizon 1st and 10 Club that we host on Monday nights, a time or two in his career.
On a draw, trying to get to the outside, and he'll be sealed off and slung down on the far sideline, short of the first down. You might be wondering, South Alabama, Houston, Louisville, some other schools like that, and he's a little slow to get up.
Oh, that's not good at all for them.
Let's watch. It's a hard hit over here at the end.
Well, he had a bum shoulder. That was his latest problem.
It's Purdue who was the one who had a hold of him, and that is what Fairhope cannot afford to have happen. Is otherwise you're going to go to a freshman, maybe at quarterback.
Yeah, they've got some issues. They have players. A player in particular that was on the team early in the season is no longer even on the roster. So they are very thin at quarterback.
Watson to punt. End over end kick. Rhodes takes it at the 29. Rhodes up the right side to the 46-yard line in good field position for Davidson to start the drive. So each team comes up strong defensively as they look over at Andrews. Boy, he was on our pregame show early in the season and just a delightful young man. As you can see, they look at that shoulder. Let's take another look and see if we can see what happened to Nate Andrews.
It's just I think what it is, Jim, it's just already a tender situation.
Yep.
And so it just aggravated it with that hit. He's such a competitor. When you see that this guy's in some pain and he's showing you the pain, he's in a lot of pain.
Without question. So great field position here for the Warriors. Jackson takes a big lick.
Wonder who?
Yeah, J.P. Sherling had 137 tackles coming in to start this one and picks up right where he's left off. Had a great game on TV the first time we saw
Enterprise.
These Fairhope Pirates play.
John Patrick Sherling, middle linebacker. I mean, this is the definition of what a guy should do. Look at the collision, man. I mean, he just explodes on people.
Also has fumble recovery on the year. Plays big for them.
He's probably caused a few fumbles.
Yeah, had a big game earlier this year against Enterprise and was the player of the game here on UTV 44. Had a big junior season as Jackson now rolling out. Good coverage downfield. He'll try to keep it, and he'll get stood up at the 45-yard line as we drop for a loss.
Yeah, again, as opposing coaches will tell you, they fit. Fairhope defensively, they're very sound.
King and White in on the tackle. 3rd and 11. Coming up for the Fairhope Pirates. This Fairhope team, if you're wondering, they forced 23 takeaways on the year. So you look at Jackson. 73% completion on the season. Very accurate. Play clock down with inside 10. Jackson will give it up on the end around. Then Dees steps out of bounds at the 41, and he's going to have the first down. So they bring it up to Aquarius Dees, and the junior picks up the first down. It's a long run there from the far side of the field all the way to the near side.
Thinking the same thing. They've got a lot of weapons on this team, a lot of guys that are able to touch the ball and do something with it. There's a nice run by Dees, good blocking on the corner.
Pat Greenwood.
Looking at Nate Andrews' neck, actually, the left side of his neck. He's been holding that and still on the bench right now, guys.
Pump fake to the near side, and they look, that one tipped up in the air and incomplete as he was trying to go to Rolonzo Rhodes. Yeah, I wondered about that when they were looking there because it almost looked like he was trying to stretch out his neck a little bit more than the shoulder, but hopefully he's healthy and come back in there, Pat.
Well, and the thing is, too, you hate to give up that first down if you're Fairhope, but actually maybe a good thing to give Nate a little bit more time to rest. Yeah, they haven't taken his helmet away or anything like that, but it is that left side of his neck, and he is obviously in some pain. And you're right, guys. I don't know what Fairhope does without him, so I'll keep a close eye on it.
2nd and 10. You saw the Warriors take the shot downfield there, and this is Douglas.
Yeah.
No, correct. That is not Douglas. That's getting his first carry. That's David Reese.
Yeah, Reese, he's the 3rd guy back there.
They continue to work on Nate Andrews.
Hey, by the way, the first play right there after the first down, great job by Rhodes playing defensive back and knocking it away because Bell was in position to make the interception. The guy that's got 3 on the year, almost had number 4 right there and killed the drive.
3rd and 5 here for the Davidson Warriors. Now it's going to be 3rd and 10.
Yep, left side moved a little quickly, including Wright, the tight end. And he was going on a pattern, too. He wasn't going to block anybody, so that was going to be Jackson dropping back and finding somebody.
Doesn't look like we've seen the nerves you sometimes see in a playoff game to
Good
start.
ball, false start on the offense. Remains 3rd down.
Jimbo Perez.
He is our buddy on the sidelines, that's for sure. He does a great job. His crew ready to go tonight. And these guys put in a lot of hours.
They really do.
The officials, they've got to keep up with everything and by and large, do a terrific job.
Jackson looking over the middle, fires that one off. He's able to get it complete to Dees, and Dees has got the first down for Davidson to the 27.
That's the element of the Davidson passing game that we've never seen before. An effective mid-range game. The way they used to run it, of course, you get a couple of passes every half, really, right?
Right. Yep.
Generally, they ran option, and try to hit you with something deep. This is more like an Oregon.
Yeah, he said we're full-fledged Oregon. He said we'd always been a hybrid in the past, but he said we were full-fledged Oregon now.
They look great beginning in that first game against Viger.
Jackson, that looked like that ball almost squirted loose.
Well, I think he got the zone read, so it's his decision, and sometimes that decision becomes a little clouded right there at the end.
Tyler White in there disrupting that play, but he still picks up 2.
Now, talking about Jackson, this is a kid who's a great student. He's a very accurate passer. He's a really good athlete. He's a terrific kid. There's a lot of schools that I would think would love to see, as Jackson made the decision last minute there, to pull it back out. A lot of schools that could benefit from a kid like that being in their program.
Yep, I agree. Good character. Kid in the room. Blitz coming on the outside, and Jackson with the inside handoff to the 24. And that is Craig.
And keep in mind, this is one team here in Davidson. They can knock a field goal on you.
They have not missed one all season long. 6 for 6, long of 37 for Zach Farney. Fred Riley's teams always play very well in special teams. They have won so many games by just being solid on special teams.
And he always finds a kicker in chemistry class somewhere.
Jackson up the middle. He's hit. John Patrick Sherling didn't even have to see the number. Could just tell by the sound.
It's John Lynch sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look like a monster of the midway, but man, oh man. It's another guy. A little undersized, so a lot of the schools aren't really giving him much of a look. Cam Jackson's looking at him right now thinking, you're my biggest nightmare.
4th and 2, and the Warriors are going to go for it. Might have to get a timeout here as the play clock's clicking down, and they will. Just 2:23 left to go in the opening quarter. Scoreless here at Ladd, round 1 of the playoffs on UTV 44. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Ryan Aaron in the booth with us, Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, and Jarrett Kihas down in the truck, and the Davidson band with the Warrior chant going. 4th and 2.
Adam Weingarten right there has done a terrific job in year 1 at Fairhope.
Comes to Fairhope and they say, Mr. Weingarten, meet Mr. Nate Andrews.
Yeah. Well, suddenly said, well, I'm glad to be here.
Hopefully we see Nate Andrews back on the field.
Yeah, that's a must.
4th and 2. Cam Jackson looks over to Fred Riley. Coach Riley calls the plays.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick short throw right here, Jim. They can do that. They've got that in their repertoire now.
D's in the slot. Rhodes to the bottom of the screen. Jackson on the keeper and is going to be hit and dropped all the way back at the 26-yard line. And Fairhope's defense comes up with a big stand on that. Casey Simmerly, the senior defensive tackle, the first one in there to stop things for the Pirates.
Just overwhelmed at the line of scrimmage. Jackson never had a prayer right here. I mean, it's just penetration, and it's over before Jackson can even start any forward motion.
Yeah, Dre Cheney in there off the edge. And Nate Andrews comes out at quarterback. And that's good news for everyone except Davidson. It's good news for the viewers, for the broadcasters,
for
the
Nate
Fairhope
Andrews,
fans.
That's right.
Spotted at the 24. Pitches on the ground as he tried to go to Ernest Andrews. That'll go all the way back to the 20-yard line. Now you're playing behind the sticks where the quarterback doesn't throw it a ton.
Right. Now he can throw it. He's 11 for 14 in the limited time he's thrown it for over 300 yards. When he does throw it again, rushing Watson, number 20. He's kind of a hybrid tight end.
Speedster.
He can run better than you think, you know? Really an excellent basketball player, too.
They'll split him out to the bottom of the screen. Now he's coming across the middle. And now they want to air it out to the near side, looking for Odom, and just out of his reach.
They got it crossed, Watson and Odom. Watson went to the middle where he's really more comfortable, actually. And Odom goes on a streak.
Odom with 14 catches on the year for 138 yards. And now 3rd and 13 coming up for the Pirates as you look at this one.
Not a bad throw at all, really. Just overshot him a little bit. He did have a step.
3rd and 13 for the Pirates.
Nate's getting a little frustrated waiting for the play to come in.
Plenty of time on the play clock. Now they'll spread things out and go 5 wide receivers.
How about a draw?
Trying to screen. Instead, they dump it off on the near side, and Kirksey gets across the 30, but short of the first down.
Kirksey, a physical young back that impressed us in the Enterprise game. Goes about 200 pounds.
Yep, about 210, maybe just a sophomore. 11 touchdowns on the season, rushed it for over 600 yards, and that was his 16th catch of the season, and now 4th and 2. And they'll send the punt team out. So 3 possessions, 3 defensive stops here tonight. Rushing Watson to punt. Rhodes stands back at the 38. Great kick by Watson. He's going to chase Rhodes all the way back to the 26. Rhodes to the near side, gets a good block, trying to get to the edge and up to the 40-yard line before he's wrapped up and brought down there by Nick Manuel. 39 seconds left in the opening quarter. Scoreless at Ladd between the Pirates and the Warriors. I will say this, we're 11 for 11 on our weather nights for high school football this year.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
Jackson, the inside handoff, nothing doing there. As again, they go to David Reese.
We highlighted the offenses coming into this game, but it's been all defense so far. Both teams really having trouble moving it at all. Davidson's had really good field position.
Yep. Tyler White at the bottom of the pile there. Let's see if the Warriors take one here before the quarter expires. Jackson in the shotgun, he will. Gives it to Reese on the right side, who's got a hole, and Reese, the speedster, across midfield and down to the 44-yard line. So Reese, who's not a big fella, just 5'4", 143, the sophomore, has a first down. And we'll come back to start quarter number 2 from Ladd after this. Fairhope and Davidson. It's a good one so far here on UTV 44. Talked about the offenses that you were alluding to, Dan, though, but in the pregame, you also closed out the pregame by saying, but we also have 2 very good defensive teams here tonight.
That's been obvious so far. There's Fred Riley with his troops surrounded by him. You know, you made a good point earlier, too, about Riles and how this program is really his. If you visit the offices of Coach Fred Riley, right there in the the belly of the beast there, right by the weight room, and he's got complete control.
No question who's in charge.
No, and just a really good guy, but somebody who understands the mission. Relates to the kids very well. They play really hard for him.
Cam Jackson rolling to his left, looking downfield, now floats one, and it's just overthrown, and he had D's as well. Just overfired on D's there.
Couple of missed big plays we've seen on either side offensively.
And maybe that's it. Maybe that is a little bit of the nerves that we talked about, as we do have a flag on this one. Single man downfield against the Warriors.
That wasn't gonna happen anyway, was it?
That'll come back. You talked about Fred Riley, and it's almost like it's with all the success that he's had and the program that he's built, still almost seems to be just a little under the radar sometimes.
I agree. I mean, they never seem to be completely adopted as the flavor of the month, right? And Daphne's had great success. McGill now is, and McGill beat this team by this much
with a 2-point conversion to win it at the end of the game.
Right.
First and 15. Jackson the quick out to Rhodes, and Rhodes cuts it back to the middle and runs right into the heart of that Fairhope defense.
Well, they sure do show up in a hurry. They get off of blocks very well, in great position, and they know how to tackle.
Ivo Levi with the stop there for the Pirates. Second and 11. So they gain 4. Jackson gives it off. Again, D's hit, and he's going to be driven back. Nick Patty in to make the stop. Pat.
Dan, you just made the point that I was just about to say. This is one of the most fundamentally sound tackling teams that I've seen in high school football. They square up. They do everything that you tell your kids to do. Square up, put your shoulder into them, drive them back. Very impressed with that Fairhope defense.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not just Sherling. It's the whole lot of them, and like they're lined up right, and they give themselves. They're always in a position to succeed. They finish the play.
3rd and 11. All kinds of time. Jackson fires this one, and it's dropped. Had a crossing route there for Dees, who couldn't hold on to it. It would have been the first down.
Yeah, need a little help on that one.
So another defensive stand will come here. Fred Riley talking to his tight end, Davin Wright, as he heads off the field. And
a young Mr. Riley right there on the sideline, by the way.
It's Jay Michael. Fair catch by Lassiter back at the 14-yard line.
Well, we know Lassiter's father awfully well. They help us get the scores that we're looking for and are involved in our pregame show, too.
Former coach of the Fairhope Pirates, Pat Greenwood again.
And on the Fairhope offense in that last timeout for them. And the coaches weren't too happy with their performance. They said, look, it's time to wake up. This is a big ball game. So what? We played 10 games to get here. We're not going to go 3 and out on 2 different possessions anymore. So should be interesting to see how this offense responds after that.
Nate Andrews, now they're going to flip it back to Andrews after Odom had it. And looking down the near side, he's able to get it complete just inside midfield to David Kirksey, the sophomore. So how about that? A little of that razzle-dazzle we saw to open things up against Foley. They do it here, and it's a big gainer.
This is exactly what we were talking about, a little bit of everything. And then they execute. And that's what they did against Foley. Their offense gives you a lot of things to prepare for.
Up to the 46-yard line.
They're also a very good 3rd down team, Jim. They stay on the field.
Nate Andrews just trips up as he tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10 coming up here for the Warriors. As we're 2 minutes into the second quarter here. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Pat Greenwood on the sidelines. Andrews gets the call from the Pirate bench, and he's ready. Andrews on the option. Pitches this one off to Ernest Andrews, and he is hit and dropped in the backfield.
That might have been a forward pass.
Might have been. And don't forget, you can follow us all throughout the playoffs on Facebook. You can search UTV 44 High School Football Game of the Week. And follow us all throughout the postseason. We'll be here throughout the playoffs on UTV 44. If you are wondering why you didn't get to see the game last night, it is tape delayed rules in the playoffs. Can't watch them live. We can all year long, but we can't do it in the playoffs.
You never know.
Rolling out Andrews now. He's going to tuck it down. Cuts against the grain. Squirts through a tackle, and he's got a first down. Is he fun to watch?
Yeah, except if you're Davidson, it's not fun to watch him, and it's not fun to try and catch him. That's why he's such a great player with the ball in his hands every play. It's obviously not a designed run, but if he has to, look what he can do. He's a terrific high school football player. He gets a first down.
He scores the pass long in the first quarter. Bally and Viger tied at 7, as are Foley and Baker. Enterprise on top of McGill, 10-0. Spanish Fort leads Carroll 7-0. St. Paul's and Eufaula scoreless on 1st and 10 here for the Pirates. Andrews, Ernest Andrews up to the 27, and now you start to see maybe a little that rhythm coming together here for this Fairhope offense.
Yeah, they got the big play from Nate Andrews to get him down the field. Nate then makes a great play with his feet.
And Pat said that the offensive coaches were just not happy, and might have got everyone's attention there. And by the way, I do have to say, I love the Fairhope uniforms. I love the blue and white, just the very kind of Colt-like uniforms.
Old school.
Andrews on the right side, he'll step out of bounds wisely, but he's got enough for the first down.
Boy, you know, if you're Fairhope too, and you look at this like a sojourn. This is not just one game. You're trying to advance in the playoffs. You got to do it 1 week at a time, but you've got to manage him where he's not taking a bunch of shots.
Yeah, he's your franchise.
Yeah, he's the guy. All right, they're in a position right now that if he throws again, keep an eye on the seam route. Look for Watson, number 20. Very effective guy this part of the field.
This will be Kirksey, the sophomore, and he's got good blocking from Andrews in front of him. He'll be pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
They do a little bit of everything right there. I mean, it's just a toss sweep.
Line up a little power eye coming at you.
Yeah, right. Bama could do that, LSU, and so at times they look exotic, and at times they look like 79 in the SEC. But they do it all well, don't they?
They really do. And Adam Weingarten, again, was a head coach up in Georgia, then was at Tuscaloosa Central and came down here. And they like him in Fairhope. Andrews pulls this one down, makes a move inside the 10. Nate Andrews with a 16-yard touchdown run for the Pirates.
I think that was just a counter play. That's just like if you did it with a tailback. You show all your motion going one way, jab step, go the other way.
Yeah, that little jump cut there.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to defend. Watch the replay here.
Boom. You know what? That
right here.
Yes. That may have been Andrews on his own. That may have simply been Nate Andrews making a play. It was pretty, and it was Nate.
John Baxter on for the point after. And the Fairhope Pirates score first. They lead 7-0 over Davidson. We're through a quarter and a half here at Ladd. The Pirates on top 7-0. Fairhope Pirates beyond the touchdown. Let's get a look at Ladd Stadium. There's Adam Weingarten. No, I put an extra on the end there. Adam Weingarten, head coach of the Pirates.
His team's impressive.
They really are.
He looks like he's waiting on a bus. Like he couldn't be bothered with the whole thing, but he's in the game.
Been in some big games before, obviously. Baxter knuckles this one into the end zone, and Warriors will start at the 20.
Hey, ethics and integrity and respect, all values important in our daily lives, and all these values are learned by participation in interscholastic athletic programs, of course, and coaches should set a good example for players and fans. Participants should treat opponents with respect, and respect should be extended to contest officials as well. Fans should be fans, not fanatics. This is a public service message from the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Just kind of a, a little worded perspective. Keep it all in perspective.
We talk about it, for our crew before every game. We have that same conversation.
We got some hotheads.
Pitch around to the near side, and that's Chance Rankins. And he's up to the 23-yard line, maybe the 24.
Tough to get a big play off this bunch, you know? Even when we saw Foley do what they did it with Cedric Reed, who was methodical.
Yep. Look at that, 8 plays, 86 yards, 3 minutes. Fred Riley's always talks about just make him snap it one more time, and that's what Fairhope does to you. You're not going to get the big, long, explosive play. And now that we've said that,
here it comes.
You get ready.
Yeah.
Now, false start against the Warriors. Make it 2nd and 11. Fred Riley was in his usual mood before the game, talking to us. Well, and Dan and I, we can kind of pull the curtain back here for you. Maybe one of our most enjoyable parts of the broadcast is about 5:40 when we're down on the field talking to the coaches. And Fred Riley, who 9 years ago didn't need the spectacles, I'm going to say. Now he's got the glasses on here.
I think you need them in September.
But we have a chance to catch up with the coaches out on the field and kind of get a feel for the game as to what's going on. And
yeah.
Fred Riley, usually, just welcomes us in and then starts out. He always starts the conversation and dictates the way it's going.
That's fine. We do all the yapping afterwards,
yep.
Right? From that point on, we get to talk, so he gets to talk to us. But, yeah, very enjoyable time well spent.
3rd and 9 for the Warriors. All kinds of time for Jackson. He's going to pull it down. Cam Jackson trying to get to the 30 for that first down, and he will, and now he's out to the 40-yard line, and he's got the first down.
Yeah. You got Nate, we got Cam. That's what they're saying right now in Warrior land. That's a great player making a play right there. And this Fairhope defense, you should see the second level. They really did converge on him right here, Jim. Once he broke contain they were there, but he was just able to outrun them.
20-yard pickup, and they only rushed 3, dropped 8 back in coverage and said, hey, okay, we're going to make you throw it down there. And finally, Cam just took off. Fresh set it down to roll to his right. Now he's looking, nicely able to get this one off. And inside the 40-yard line, taking the big hit is Chance Rankins, but he's got a first down to the 37.
Little guy made a big play right there. Rankins, again, they flood this side with their receivers, so Cam's just got to figure out at what level is somebody open. He finds Rankins.
Yeah, Cam did a good job with his eyes looking downfield because it looked like he might have wanted to take the shot downfield. Yep. And then
he had the deep, the intermediate, and then the little toss to the tailback, and good play by Davidson, and they get another first down.
Yep, goes for 24. So we're inside 6 minutes here in the second quarter. Give is to Craig up to the 31.
We were really impressed with both tailbacks in week 1 against Viger. Of course, that was a very young defense then, but Douglas and Craig were really good.
And they really wore down that Viger defense as that game went on. Davidson comes in averaging 28 points a game. As we said, ranked number 6 in the state. Craig will take it on the left edge and gets stood up there at the 31-yard line. Stephen Pierce able to make the tackle.
Nice job by Pierce. 5'10", 178 outside linebacker, just a high school football player. That's what you're seeing right there. He's not on the rivals list, but he made the play right there, Jim.
3rd and 4. High snap. Jackson pulls it down, goes up the middle. He slowed down. Clayton King got just enough of him. It's going to be short of the first down. In the last drive, in about this spot, Fairhope's defense came up with a big 4th down stop.
Yeah, about the same amount of distance, 2. 3rd along 2, 4th along 2 now, and Warriors not quite in field goal position just yet, so they're going to have to get the first down.
4th and 2. That's what they had at the end of the field, and Fairhope came up with a stop. Jackson rolls out, dumps it out of the backfield, and it's dropped. Got his tight end, Davin Wright, just dropped it. And 2 4th down stops for the Fairhope defense. All right, our encore trivia. In 1980, we go all the way back to 1980. University of North Alabama beat Jacksonville State to clinch their first ever conference title and berth into the Division II playoffs. That's a long way to go to ask the question, who was the quarterback for that team?
For the North Alabama team.
Who was the quarterback for UNA on that historic night?
A very celebrated player in that school's history.
Nate Andrews scrambles around. Andrews up to the 41-yard line and a first down. And like you said, Dan, even though he's not a quarterback by nature, he can throw the ball, so they have to respect that when he's got it cocked there like he's ready to fire it down the field.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could see he can make the throws. You know, they've got a lot of different looks, a lot of different exotic looks offensively. And then you got Nate. And if it doesn't work, Nate will make it work.
At the 42. Jackson on the option. Making Andrews on the option. He steps out of bounds at midfield. And, you know, you see the smarts of Nate Andrews, too, where he has a chance. He's kind of taking that step out of bounds, not trying to get the extra contact, like you were saying. Yeah,
it's a journey. I mean, you know, you look at this as this is a playoff game, but this doesn't have to be our last playoff game.
Right. Live to fight another week.
Right.
Pickup of 8.
Coach Riley revealed to me he even did that a good bit with Jackson during the year. No need for him to get hit too many times. You win the game.
Keep him fresh.
Get him on the bus.
Kirksey got back to the line of scrimmage. Might have got one. And you see that with some of the really talented teams in our area. They'll pile it up in the first half and get their starters to play maybe one series in the second half. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at McGill, and how many snaps has Jason Smith taken as opposed to a quarterback whose team has been in every game this year?
Exactly.
Speaking of that, McGill now on top 14-13 with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Interesting.
You knew that David Faulkner was going to have that Enterprise team ready to play. Dakota Morgan up to the top of the screen. Now they'll go double tight end on the right side with an unbalanced line and pitch it to Kirksey, and that's going to be a flag thrown on 3rd and 2, and he wasn't going to get anything anyway.
Well, that's a big back getting stonewalled by that Davidson defense, plus the flags. See what that's about.
Holding call. The Warriors will, you'd expect, will decline this and bring up 4th down.
I don't know if it's an easy decline, Jim.
You give him another play here at midfield.
Offense. It's declined. 4th down.
I think the fact that they lost maybe a yard on the play might have played into that. And let's see what the Pirates do with a 7-point lead. Here you got less than 3 minutes to go in the half.
They're going to go for it. Right at midfield. And now they want a timeout. Adam Weingarten is hot.
And he is hot at rushing Watson, it looks like. Rushing looked like the one guy out there wasn't quite sure what was going on. And he knows now.
We'll see if they punt now. 2:21 to go in the half. 7-0 Fairhope. Dan, we were just talking in the break there. Adam Weingarten so upset. It's like he had a play called that was dialed up that was going to work, and somebody wasn't lined up right on 4th and 3, and they're going to go for it with Andrews under center.
Yeah, they got Kirksey deep. That's their big back.
Just one receiver.
That might have been all they were doing. They did it. Davidson jumps off sides.
Comes up with a hard count. Boy, you just can't implode and give your opponent the first down in that situation. Especially coming out of a timeout. You know that they were told that.
31.
No doubt about it. But in the middle of that line of scrimmage, these kids are competing, and you've got a young guy that maybe isn't getting the best of that fight. And he's thinking, I've got to do everything I can to bow up and make a play here. Now you got Andrews with the opportunity to make Davidson pay.
Tevin Brown was the guilty party and then had a talking to from Fred Riley as he came off. Andrews picks up 9 on that one as we're approaching 2 minutes to go. Blocking up front by the Pirates.
Yep. Just as if he's a tailback, they just block for him the same way. And when he is a tailback, by the way, he's a very good one. He's played tailback as well.
Wide receiver.
Had some great games.
Punt returner. DB. First down here picked up by the Pirates at 2nd and short.
I think Nate played a lot of DB when he was a sophomore, more back, a couple of years back.
Free up the mic back.
Always put him back there in a key spot. We've seen him back there late in games and definite passing situations.
And he's bigger than you think, too. He's
a little thicker.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, he's a good, strong, solid athlete.
6'1", about 205.
That's a good-sized young man right there for, teams looking at him.
Andrews be hit and dropped for a loss here. Good penetration, Julian Gardner. A late flag comes in on this one. This could be 2 key costly penalties here on the Warriors on this drive. Face mask call against State. First down here for the Warriors with 1:19 to go. Andrews hit and dropped back at the 37-yard line.
They brought the heat that time. They weren't just going to let Fairhope dictate everything right there.
Now with 59 seconds left, we get a timeout.
Matthew Dorsey's the linebacker that he comes like he's got purpose. That's a big play right there.
Got kind of changed the complexion of how this drive was going. So now down to 58 seconds left. And want to thank our friends at Whataburger for being a sponsor of high school football all season long here on UTV 44. And they really have done some great things throughout the year. They've donated food a bunch, including tonight, and the owners, they watch the games every Friday night, so or in this case Saturday. So we're glad to have them here on UTV 44. And this week's burgers came from the location on Government Street.
Yeah, not far from here.
Yep, and previous donations from our friends up at the Chickasaw store, Denise and Kenny Summerall. Kenny Summerall. I know Kenny Summerall.
Do you?
I do, down on Government Street. And they're providing 20 double meat Whataburgers for the crew. We didn't even get offered a sniff by the crew. I think it shows kind of as we've talked about a little bit, the separation we have sometimes between
there's a canyon.
200% beef, 2 fresh, never frozen, 100% pure American beef patties. Thanks to Whataburger. Great folks. Nate Andrews on 2nd and long. Single coverage down the far side and airmails this one to the back of the end zone.
Had what they wanted, though, right? Single coverage, one-on-one. The safety was getting there, but a little bit late.
Got Devin Odom. Was the receiver he was looking for on the far side. Now 3rd and 16 coming up.
Really surprised we haven't seen more of Watson. I don't know. I'll have to take a closer look and see what they're doing defensively against number 20. He's usually a bigger part of the passing game, but they haven't looked at him yet. So 3rd and 16 for the Pirates. Put it at the 36. 5 receiver set.
Warriors rush just 2, and they get some pressure. Andrews strong arms this one, and it's nearly intercepted. It's broken up at the 6-yard line. Back there in coverage, Anthony MacArthur, the junior safety.
Yeah, they had a lot of eyes on Andrews. They had all the defensive backs, and they had extra DBs in the game, Jim. But everybody looking back at Nate, saying, "Don't you do it."
Pat Greenwood.
Justin Abston is the reason that they haven't had a lot of open passes there. He's been one-on-one on your man, number 20 for Fairhope, and he's been doing a great job defensively. And,
he has.
Yeah, that's a lot of credit to him.
4th and 16. Andrews, again, they drop 9 in coverage, and Andrews going to take off, trying to get to the near sideline. He's inside the 20. And he's going to have the first down. 4th and 16, and he picks it up.
Yeah.
He just with his speed, he just beat everyone to the sideline here.
Yeah, he got to the stick quicker than the defender could. Right there, same guy just made a great play. Linebacker Dorsey can't get to him in time.
Long strides too for Andrews. Covers a lot of ground quickly.
Yeah.
4th and 16.
And they get it.
Now 31 seconds. And this one going to be against Fairhope prior to the snap.
4 flags on the play, by the way.
Back him up to the 21-yard line.
Ball start on the offense. Remains first down.
Nate Andrews, 15 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown here in the first half. 2 of 5 for 54 yards in the air.
How important is Nate Andrews to the Fairhope Pirates?
Like you said, we saw him go out when he was injured in the game against Foley, and it just totally changed that game around. He fires this one off and they're able to get it complete, and there's rushing Watson to the 9-yard line, and it's 1st and goal coming up for the Pirates with 22 seconds left.
Kids made a liar out of me the whole first half. Finally, Watson makes a play, and again, he's got good size, so he's very valuable, especially down here.
The Pirates are going to mark Watson out of bounds on the far side, so they had hurried up to the line, and then Adam Weingarten said, no.
Take your time.
Yep, we're okay here.
Very well-coached team. Except for that.
Don't see. And Weingarten. I wonder if the officials will back him up 5 more.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Remains second down.
Putting a little bit more on Nate Andrews' plate right here. 2nd and 3 becomes 2nd and 8 or 7. Time's an issue, Jim. 21 seconds.
On the draw, Andrews right up the middle, and he's hit, and he's going to be stopped at the 12-yard line, and Fairhope will have to take a timeout. Andrews will head over and talk with Coach Weingarten. Be curious to see where Nate goes. Definitely wants to play football next year. As he goes over to have a talk with Ernest Andrews.
Well, at what level, it's tough to project these young guys, but he looks like he's good enough, doesn't he?
Without question. Pat Greenwood.
All right, so what do you call here, fellas? You got no more timeouts if you're Fairhope. Can't get a sack. So do you take one shot at the end zone, or you go ahead and line it up right now?
Oh, I think you take a shot with Nate Andrews. He's tough to bring down in the backfield when out of the shotgun there. But
I agree, and I know what you're saying, Pat, because you want to get points, but at the same time, 14 seconds is a lot. Andrews is elusive, and he can just he can make somebody open by scrambling and buying time.
But you'll be curious to see what Davidson does defensively. We've seen him dropping everybody back in coverage now. Do they come with some type of blitz or something to try to force his hand?
Well, it's one of those guys. If you're going to blitz, you better get him. Because if you don't, he's gone, and you've got nobody back there to make the play. Better send your best tackler, Jim. That's what I would say.
Or 2.
Yes.
Davidson defense allowing just 12 points a game this season, 5 of their 9 games. They've allowed less than 7 points.
Everything very spread out.
Andrews looking to the right side to the corner of the end zone, and that one out of bounds with 8.9 seconds left in third down, so you can take another shot. I think they're going to bring on the field goal team here and just try to get the points.
Kirksey out of the backfield. Nate just takes a shot. It's got one-on-one down there in the corner. That is really a great young football player.
Great defensive stand there by Davidson as well. So this will be a 29-yard field goal attempt for Baxter. Hash mark to the right. And Baxter's kick is good.
That's 3 points minus the cannon. So we don't have to endure that.
So they get 3 out of the drive with just 3 seconds left in the half. And those 3 points could be very big. This does not look like this is a game that's going to have a lot of separation in it.
No, it's very interesting that this thing was just plodding along, and Pat brought it to our attention that the offensive coaches really got in their face a little bit on the sideline for Fairhope, and the next thing you know, they went about 86 yards. And that touchdown was huge, along with that field goal. Now, like you say, 10-0, but neither team looks like they're ready to blow this thing out.
Let's see if they just squib this one to try to make sure that this is the last play of the half.
Remember that word? We dissected the word squib one game many years ago. Remember that? Squib kick?
I do remember that. I don't remember the outcome and what we decided.
I think viewers got involved.
Went to the thesaurus.
There's a suit, a legal suit at one.
And this is, so they do squib, but they don't squib it enough to burn the time off, so they will give the Warriors one chance here.
Cam Jackson will take that.
1.9 seconds left.
Jackson's been pretty quiet this half. I mean, Fairhope, this defense again, that, as they say, they are fit. David Stapleton's defense is where they need to be. They make you work for everything, and Jackson's had a hard time reeling off any big plays.
Yeah, missed a couple of throws. Had a couple of balls that were dropped.
Yep.
So
But he'll come out in the second half, so get ready for that.
This looks like a big umbrella out here for the Fairhope defense with everybody dropped back, and Jackson will roll out. He's going to load this one up from the 35. It's down around the 10, and it's knocked down. Incomplete. And that will bring the first half to a close. We've got a Warrior receiver a little slow to get up. Down there on the 10-yard line, they'll go and check on Terry Abston. And Abston will get checked out. Hopefully he's all right before we'll watch a replay here. Ooh.
Just got way up, and what goes up must come down, and he landed on that back. And that's there's good reason for him to be shaken up right there. Coach Fred Riley is right there with him.
Let's go down to Pat Greenwood.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Coach, after those first 2 possessions, your offense really responded, didn't they?
Well, I was proud of how they came back. We obviously didn't start the first 2 drives like we wanted to, but probably playoff first round jitters those first 2 drives. We're really proud of our defense for getting the ball back.
Well, I was about to say too, a lot of people don't talk about that Fairhope defense, but boy, they played well this first half.
They really played well. It's a 48-minute game. We got a whole other half to play. Davidson's got a fine team, so we're just going to take everything to beat them.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate it. And look, I don't expect that 0 on the scoreboard to stay long for Davidson. Could be a good second half, fellas.
We certainly hope so, as they get Abston off the field here. We're going to report from him in the second half from Pat Greenwood. Last week we closed out the season with the regular season finale. UMS and St. Paul's player of the game, Bradley Paget.
Good football player, hard-nosed quarterback. He got the votes. He had a solid game against the rivals, UMS Wright. Big win for St. Paul's as they head into the playoffs. Traveling to Eufaula tonight.
Tough draw.
That is a tough draw. Very good athletic team.
Bradley Paget was our guest on a pregame show and then goes on and wins the player of the game as well, and he has led the Saints.
Look at that laser to
Into
Towner.
the postseason. That was early on, and once Towner got it, he was gone on the nice throw from Bradley Pageant. So congratulations to Bradley Pageant, our player of the game. And when we come back, we will hear our marching bands coming up on the M&S Music Halftime Show right after this. At the half here at Ladd, Fairhope, and Davidson. And the Fairhope Pirates up by a score of 10-0. And let's go down now and enjoy the Pirate Marching Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sound of O'Neill.
10-0 our halftime score here. Fairhope leading Davidson. We enjoyed the Fairhope band, and now let's go down and we can enjoy the Davidson Warrior Marching Band here at the M&S Music Halftime Show.
1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You see our score at the half, round one of the playoffs here on UTV 44. Battles across the bay, Regions 2 and Regions 1 getting together. Fairhope, a number 3 seed in Region 2, and Davidson coming in a number 2 seed in Region 1, and right now it's 10-0 in favor of Fairhope. And Dan, we were just talking here at the break while the bands were playing, said, Davidson's got to get something going. They've had some opportunities and some good field position.
Davidson had all the field position in the first period especially, and it was after a little talking to on the Fairhope sideline that their offense got going, that long 86-yard drive that culminated in the first touchdown. They followed up with a field goal late, and really neither offense has been scintillating, but they've done enough to get 10 points on the board. Davidson's got to answer some way soon.
And I think if you're Fred Riley, as you look at our halftime stats brought to you by Wheel 2, you feel like you might have left some stuff out there. You left some chances out there and some big plays that maybe went by the wayside.
Yeah, you got it down to the 30 twice, and we're not able to convert on fourth down.
See, total yards, 171 for Fairhope, 126. 3 of 7, 5 of 10. It's pretty even there, but Fairhope was just able to take advantage of their opportunities. Andrews, 16 rushes, 78 yards, and a touchdown in the first half. And Jackson just hasn't really gotten on yet so far. Pat Greenwood.
I got a chance to talk to Coach Riley coming down to the locker room. He says he talked to his players that they're in any game, 4 to 5 plays that make a big difference. They may not seem like it's a big difference, but when you look back at it, it really determines what happened. He says for Fairhope, they had the trick play that flipped the field. For Davidson, they dropped a couple of passes in the red zone. They jumped offside when they shouldn't have. And those little plays make a big difference when it's all said and done. So there's going to be 4 or 5 plays coming up in this second half that'll make all the difference in the world. He says you got to play every play like it's the biggest play of the ball game, and that's how Davidson will attack them this second half.
Yeah, and when you are Davidson, you've got to play every play defensively like it might be a trick play, because that's what Fairhope does. They keep you off balance with a lot of stuff out of the toy box.
Barney sends this one down to Odom, who has some trouble with it inside the 10, and now he's got it. Devin Odom changes directions, and now will get stopped at the 18. And Fairhope will bring their offense out. Again, Nate Andrews has been the guy who's been the catalyst for that offense with the 10 points they got here. Davidson's defense has not played poorly throughout the game here tonight. And did a good job in that first half. Just Andrews made a couple of big plays, and we were really worried as he got hurt on the first series and then came back out for the Pirates.
Yeah, I think it was the second snap, got flung down on the sideline, and he's already got kind of a banged up shoulder. We saw him suffer a concussion in the Foley game, so he's had a year where he's been challenged with some injuries, and this was a neck injury.
Ball is on the ground, still loose inside the 10, and recovered by the Pirates. Wow.
That's the break the Warriors were looking for right there.
Snap came back, and Andrews never had a firm handle on it. And I think that's exactly what Pat Greenwood just talked to Fred Riley about, saying 3, 4, 5 plays have a chance to turn a game around. That might have been one of them.
Yep, you're right. And in that case, it did not turn it around, though it may turn it around in field position. But that's not been Davidson's problem. They've had some field position, just haven't converted.
10-yard loss. Andrews rolls out now, looking to come back in the end zone, makes a move. Strong arms this one out to the 20 to Odom. He's got to complete, and Odom breaks this one. Odom inside the 40, the 30, inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Well, it was Nate Andrews making a great play. Avoids, he's at his own goal line, Jim. Makes a move to avoid a sack and maybe a safety. Now, you got a flag back around the 30-yard line. Let's see what that's all about.
It's coming back at some point here. Let's see. Watch Andrews makes the nice move here to avoid the safety, and then really throws a line drive. There's a block in the back there.
That's what sprung him right there. So it's a good call, and it had a big impact on the play. The right call at the right time, and Davidson, I won't say they get a break, because that was the block in the back that allowed Odom to get downfield.
But well, you could see that developing as soon as he made that catch. We had a great look at it here, and Odom took off, and so it'll be from the spot of the foul. We'll get this sorted out here. Going to bring up second down. Jimmo Pires.
Block in the back on the offense. Replay second down.
Penalty moves the ball.
That's how good Andrews is. I mean, he's scrambling at his own goal line, and that thing ends up down by the other goal line. Granted, the block in the back, but Andrews made the play.
They picked up 11 after the penalty. And stood up at the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up third and about 10 here for Fairhope.
They've defended the running backs pretty well. Davidson has.
Thomas
Kirksey hadn't really got off the other Andrews.
Big Thomas Mingo, 5'9", 290 with a stop there. Now Mingo will come out here.
Rushing a more fleet body with a passing situation. Try to corral that guy, Nate Andrews.
Play clock inside 10 here for the Pirates. Andrews will take the snap to 15. Right up the middle, and Andrews is hit, and it's to about the 26. That'll bring up fourth down. Boy, that drive certainly changed around on that penalty. Takes away a first and goal at the other end, and we'll bring up a punting situation here. And again, you would expect Davidson to get good field position.
But again, without the block in the back, you don't have the first and goal, because that thing really was the impetus to free up Odom. Now, if you're Davidson, I'm sure that offensively they went over some things at halftime, Jim. First chance to see them on offense in a period here in the third period where they've got to make something happen.
Rolonzo Rhodes back to receive the punt from Rushing with a great kick. Back to the 34. Rhodes stumbles. Now he's trying to move up the right sideline and will inside Pirate territory. Knocked out at the 43-yard line.
The punter, Rushing Watson, knocks him out of bounds.
9 minutes to go in the third. A 23-yard return. And again, good field position there on the Fairhope side of the 50 when we come back. Early on in the third, the Pirates on top 10-0. Low is good. Cam Jackson to the 39-yard line.
This defense from Fairhope doesn't just give it away now. You have got to work for it. So Jackson does some more things in the air. Let's see exactly how they want to try to attack this defense. They've had some luck with the zone option.
John Patrick Sherling. Jackson quick out to the near side, and that one is thrown behind. I think that might have been a lateral. That one was behind Jaquel Craig.
I think it was behind Craig, but it was still barely a forward pass. John Patrick Sherling, this guy's all man, huh?
Yeah, he really gets after it. And we've seen him do this past couple of seasons here on UTV 44. Had that great game earlier in the season that we saw here. Always a nose for the football. Jackson looking to throw pump fakes, pulls it down. Now he's going to take off. Jackson takes a big hit there. You could tell by the sound it was who? Yeah, Sherling.
That's it. That's a couple of guys that know how to play football right there.
Got a chance to talk to his mom and dad at the last Fairhope game we did, sitting right down in front of the press box where we're at over in Fairhope.
I've talked to them also at the First and 10 meetings where he's been honored. Talked to him after the game, and first time I saw him, I said, what do you feed that kid? He's a mean son of a gun.
All right, here we go. 4th and 1 from the 39. And
seen this one before.
Yep, the Pirates have stopped the Warriors on their 2 4th-down attempts. It was both a 4th and 2 attempt earlier, but this is 4th and 1. Play clock down to 5. Jackson going to keep it himself, and Jackson is hit by Sherling, but he keeps the legs going. He's going to have the first down to the 29.
You know, when Sherling hit him, he wasn't there yet.
No,
he didn't have the first down. That's some good leg driving to get it by that guy.
Jackson is a little bigger than he was last year, 6'2", about 185.
Yeah.
Wow, what a hit by Sherling.
I'm telling you, look at Jackson fight free. Cam wasn't feeling real good today either. He had to do some time with in the nurse's office.
Chicken soup.
Yeah.
He's hit in the backfield and dropped. Penetration by Dre Cheney.
Cheney's been in the backfield a lot tonight. He comes off the edge, and this team again, you know, they just they seem to be in the right spot a lot.
Cheney 5'9", 29-pound outside linebacker. That's his 3rd sack of the season.
Davidson behind the sticks again. You know, they get deep down around the 30-yard line. This is where they've stalled in the past.
They get 2nd and 14. Jackson looking to the right side. Now goes across the field. And that one tipped and deflected away as he was trying to find Rolonzo Rhodes.
He had Rhodes, who had sat down in a zone here, Jim, about 15 yards downfield.
Bell got his hand on that one. 3rd and 14. And now doesn't matter what level of football you're watching, 3rd and 14 is a tough down in distance.
It's a tough one, even for Cam Jackson. Again, we saw him, he was able to run the ball more effectively against the McGill team earlier this year.
You're right.
He hasn't found the seams to make any big plays against Fairhope yet.
Jackson rolling out to his right, pressure coming from the backside. He gets it off down the sideline, and it's intercepted. Nice job to stay in bounds by Dre Irvin. Boy, the tiptoe footwork by Irvin on that one.
That was big time, wasn't it? Knowing exactly where he is. Dre Irvin not just makes the play with his hands, but watch his feet. Keeps both toes in bounds.
Pressure coming from the backside and from Cheney again.
Look at that play by Irvin.
That's a great defensive play.
Great shot on the sidelines, too.
Turnover by the Warriors and Fred Riley.
The old quarterback's talking to the young quarterback saying, here's what I saw. What did you see?
At the 15, Pirates take over. Andrews kicks it off to Kirksey. Kirksey to about the 20-yard line.
Davidson's had the answer for that most of the night.
You're right.
It's been Nate Andrews in space, and he's given teams headaches all year long, so it's no surprise. But this big Kirksey kid, they've had the answer for him.
Pick up a 4 on the play.
I say that. He got more than I thought.
Inside 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, Pat Greenwood on the sidelines, Jared Kihas in the truck, and Nate Andrews with a football. And now it's a flag thrown by Jimbo Perez, and that's going to be a hold and bring the Pirates back.
The Davidson's competing up front. This really is a slugfest, defensive slugfest. I don't know that we necessarily saw this coming.
That's actually an illegal block call. Back up the Pirates again. Let's watch. It's going to be in the top portion of your screen.
I'm fine. Back up, guys. Anybody back? Anybody back?
I'm not sure exactly where it was. Jimbo saw something and
Blocking below the waist on the offense. Replay 2nd down.
The penalty moves the ball back to the Fairhope 11, where the Pirates will have 2nd.
Let's watch again. Oh, there it is right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Spanish Ford has opened up a 37-0 lead.
He's doing everything he can.
There's Tevin Brown.
Yeah, to get to that defender.
Who's the recipient of the illegal block. Andrews short arms that one to the far side. Really wound up and fired a fastball trying to get to Odoms, and it just skipped. And Odom could not come up with it, and it'll bring up 3rd and 15 for the Pirates.
You wonder exactly what you want to do right here because, again, you are deep. You have Andrews, who has been kind of a part-time quarterback.
Yep.
What don't you want? Turnover, right? So you ask him to make the play, but at the same time, you're thinking, if we've got to kick it out of here with a 2-score lead, we'll do that.
4 receivers. Andrews floats this one on the right side, and rushing Watson goes up, and he's got his first catch of the night, and he's got the first down.
He's got the bigger body right there. See, there's Watson and his line guard and celebrating with him, and this is why this kid's a weapon. He's a really good athlete, has good ball skills. And watch, when it comes right down to it, he's able to box out. He's a basketball player. That's exactly what he did right there.
28 yards and goes up over the 5'10 Justin Abston, and a great look there from Thomas McDonald, a photographer on the play. Thomas, he's been in some battles with us on high school football games in tough conditions. Andrews keeps it, trying to reverse the field. Splits a little seam, and boy, makes something out of nothing there out to the 42.
He gives you the chance to have a more manageable second and third down.
Pat Greenwood?
Give that credit to Andrew Purdue. I don't know if he was in on the tackle per se, but what he was able to do is basically contain that outside. Because what Andrews has been doing is going one way, coming back the other way.
Yeah,
and,
countering, yeah.
Yeah, and absolutely. And Andrews able to seal the end, and that's all you got to do. Seal them, turn them back to where everybody else is, and really did a good job that time.
Yeah, that's what he's done a lot. You're right, Pat. And I don't know if these are called plays or it's just what he sees, but you're right. Purdue does not make the play, but does make the play, essentially.
2nd and 7. Andrews cuts it up the middle to the 45-yard line. 3rd and about 3 for the Pirates as we approach 4 minutes to go in the 3rd.
Well, they're piling all the luggage on top of Nate Andrews like he's a minivan, and they're going on a long vacation, but he's their guy right now.
21 carries tonight for Andrews, 82 yards.
Well, I'd hate to play cards against Weingarten. He doesn't show you much, does he?
They drop a penalty right over at the sideline on the Fairhope side.
Jimbo's going to try to straighten it out for us. What would be a 3rd and 3?
Just right after Nate Andrews was having the talk with poker-faced Adam Weingarten.
I'll tell you. He's got his team ready to play tonight.
Maybe just a sideline warning, maybe?
It could be.
You know what I think they, it seems like might be on, Coach Weingarten has been out on the field a lot tonight. Went out pushing it out toward the numbers a few times.
Yeah.
So they dropped the flag as a warning.
They're going to have too many men in the huddle, and it's going to be him. That's how much he's been out there.
3rd and 2. Kirksey. It's going to be very close.
That's the play that Davidson's done a pretty good job of defending. Just a toss sweep, power sweep. And Kirksey, powerful guy without the blockers.
Gets the first down
He's
here.
got the first, yeah. It's got to be disconcerting to Davidson as they haven't scored yet, and it's 2 scores.
Yeah, you start to do some math as to how many times you're going to get the ball back.
Right. It's a big drive for Fairhope right now that, as all the drives have been this half, started way back in their own end.
Had the 3rd down, had a chance to get the ball back. They had him 3rd and long, pinned him in the completion to Watson. Kirksey, this time he gets to the outside. And he's going to have another first down for the Pirates, still moving the pile inside the 35 to the 33. Pat Greenwood.
Well, the other thing that Fairhope is doing, guys, this is the most deliberate no-huddle offense I've ever seen. They don't get in the huddle, but it's not a hurry-up either. They're letting the play clock go down inside 10 practically every time, and taking some time off the clock, taking some air out of the football. And when you're up 10-0 and you're limiting Davidson's possessions, it's working to perfection right now for Fairhope.
Careful with that, taking some air out of the football, Pat Greenwood. We saw a manager at USC lose his job over that this week. Fresh set of downs, and that one goes nowhere. And again, Coach Weingarten on the other side. He showed a little emotion on that play. You might have known if you were holding pocket aces on that one.
It's Andrews just put so much pressure on the defense. You've got to be right every play, not every now and then. And you're right, Pat was exactly right. This is so deliberate, and it's being done deliberately too, to run down that play clock. They're in no rush. They've got the lead.
Down to 3 here. Andrews gets it off at 1. Rolls out to his right, throws it back across his body. He's got that complete to Odom, who's got the first down at the 16. Nice play by Andrews to hit Odom.
Yeah, he's really got one receiver that he's looking for, and it's Odom. And he's able to sneak it in there under duress against his body to the middle of the field, which they say never do that. Well, he did it. There's the first down.
Andrews with the completion, and we're down to 1.5 minutes to go. in the third here at the 16. Boy, another score here. Boy, a touchdown here.
Oh, big.
Radically changes this playoff game. The pitch to Kirksey. Waits for a block from Odom. He'll get tackled inbounds.
Yeah, this Davidson defense has got to do everything they can to hold them out and at least force a field goal attempt.
Mm-hmm. You know, with that second down coming up here, it might be just one more, it might be just one more snap here in the fourth quarter after this play.
Yeah, fourth quarter is coming on quickly. Adam Weingarten got to be pleased. I know that
we're approaching 6 minutes on this drive.
Yeah, exactly what they would hope for here in the third period, keeping the ball away from Davidson.
Nate Andrews to the 10, and the ball came loose and recovered by the Davidson Warriors. Wow. In the scrum, it comes loose. And what a turnover by the Warriors.
You know, Vic Lockett always says, Jim, keep on playing, play hard. He's got it high and tight, but it started to get away from him.
Justin Abston with the recovery.
Yeah, there's Nate's, actually the helmet had come off too, off Nate Andrews. And what a huge play for the Warriors.
Each team with a turnover here in the third quarter. And so Davidson now at their own 9. They would look like Fairhope was going in maybe for the score to really
kind of put the vice on Davidson.
Absolutely. So now here's Cam Jackson. And here's a flag prior to the snap. Some emphatic whistles there.
I don't know if there was, and I think there was, almost see some motion from the entire Davidson team sometime right before the snap. But
False start on the offense.
What I mean by that, Jim, so everybody's leaning at the same time, right before the snap. Do you see some of that?
Looks like they might have been leaning a little too much.
Yeah.
Back them up half the distance. Now, just what you were talking about with Fairhope at the other end of the field, Dan Brennan. Now you have to be careful if you're the Warriors here. Last thing you can do is turn it over at this spot. Jackson will roll out. Comes to Reese. And Reese will be tackled by Patty at the 42-yard, at the 12-yard line.
You know, that's a play that might get a few more yards on some other people, but not on Fairhope, because they just, they defend the entire field so well.
Yeah,
and they really attack from the inside out.
Well, to your point, that's Patty, the linebacker on the outside, who came all the way over to the near side in pursuit to make it. So we have played 3 here at Ladd. It is 10-0. The Pirates have the lead as we head into the fourth. It's round 1 of the playoffs. Somebody's going to play next week, and somebody else is going home. Fairhope with the lead as we get ready to head to the fourth quarter. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan, -1 Victor Lockett here. He'll be back next week. Second time he's had to talk with a commissioner, plead his case.
Sit one out. He's in the office of the big redhead right now, being dressed down.
He'll be back next week.
This is a guy that hopes he's back next week. Fred Riley and his Davidson Warriors. They knew they were in for a tussle, as Mr. Lockett likes to say, right?
I think that's what his mom always called it, a tussle.
I miss old Vic. Cam Jackson gonna have to make some plays. Of course, it's not a one-man game. We don't mean that, but he's an explosive player and
he needs to be explosive.
At this point, you can see they're going to need some explosive plays. John Patrick says, not on my watch.
2nd and 7, the end around again. Alonzo Rhodes through traffic. It's up to the 16-yard line, and 3rd down upcoming for the Warriors. Davidson, as we said, just to reset, 8-1 coming in, had an odd 10th week. They did not play a game. Only lost this season, 29-28 to McGill on a game that went right down to the wire, and Jason Smith executing a 1-minute drive to win the game and then going for 2 to win it right here at Ladd.
Cam Jackson was outstanding in that game, too.
McGill's closest game during the regular season. Jackson over the middle in traffic, fires it, able to get that one off complete as Dees is brought down at the 45-yard line by Sherling. What a throw by Jackson and what a catch by Dees for a 30-yard pickup in the middle of traffic.
Well, you're talking about somebody's got to make a play. Dees makes a play right here. Watch the catch by Dees. Yeah, reaching behind him. Sherling doesn't give up on the play, but well, that's a horse collar, but it didn't get called.
Yeah, official said he didn't get his hands inside the jersey.
Well, you don't have to be a tailor, do you?
He's got to go inside.
Well, I'll tell you what, that shows how Sherling never gives up on the play, made the play, but that might have been a much bigger play.
Up to midfield for Jaquel Craig.
Boy, if Davidson can do something here offensively, how big is that turnover?
Wow.
Back yonder, as they say. Again, in midfield, and it's about 20 yards down from here. They've continued to stall out around the 30.
Pick up 4. Cam Jackson on the right side. And Sherling and Patty will ride him down at the 46. And third down. And about 3 coming up.
We talk about Sherling a lot, but the fact is they've got some defensive guys up front that really do a good job of protecting him, including Simmerly and King. Big guys inside that play good technique and allow him to make plays.
Third down and 2 officially here for the Warriors. Jackson hit in the backfield and dropped for a loss. And again, it's Dre Cheney in there to blow that one up.
Cheney's not showed up every play, but when he does, it's usually on the other side of the ball.
4th down at the 48.
Now you got 4th and 4. And you talk about a team looking over to the sideline like, what's the play? They're really gazing right now.
3 receivers for Jackson. This one incomplete, not close. Just trying to get it off to Alonzo Rhodes. 1 for 4 tonight on 4th down attempts for the Warriors.
It's not been good.
I don't know if that was just miscommunication there between Alonzo Rhodes and Jackson.
Well, I think that, basically there was some edge pressure coming right at Jackson. And he just doesn't make a good throw. That's what I saw. And now Fairhope with a chance to chew on some clock here, make things that much more difficult for Davidson.
Pat Greenwood brought up the good point. Now see the play clock already down to 2. They're not going to get this one off. So that's a delay of game. I'm not sure. Boy,
that's a quick turnaround.
Boy, I wonder if it. Boy, it seemed almost, because as soon as I looked at that, I said, boy, it's a 2. It just didn't. It seemed like it was
for a change of possession pretty quick.
Yeah, like the play clock had got started. So let's listen to Jimbo Perez here. Looks like he might be.
Dead ball. Yep. Delay game on the offense. Remains first down.
Well, the call was the call, but I think what you're talking about is how quickly they whistled that ball hit back in play.
So 1st and 15, Kirksey up to the original line of scrimmage and maybe one more right at midfield.
Okay, here's what you can see that they decide to do, Jim. Again, we look at the playoffs like a longer story, right? You got the big 200-pound tailback at Kirksey, 210, line up in the I formation. Let him take the hits.
Yeah.
Okay, let Nate pitch it and go the other way.
Yeah. Can't get to week 3 if you.
No, you need number 6 back there.
As Pat had talked about, just keep to winding that play clock down inside 10. Kirksey reverses direction and now comes out of it. And the sophomore has got a first down. You could hear the Davidson coaches through our microphone say, got him. They had him wrapped up, and it sure looked like it. Instead, he squirts to the 38.
Everybody in the stadium knew he was dead to rights except himself. 25, Kirksey. It's the young guy that impressed us in the Foley game. He's got good agility and power for a young guy that's a sophomore. And
Pat Greenwood.
But talk about desire there, fellas. That's, again, everything was down but his knee, right?
Right.
He just keeps going, gets another 5, 6, 7 yards, and a lot of momentum on this Fairhope sideline right now.
See the night for Andrews there. Over 200 yards of total offense.
The numbers don't even tell it.
inside give. And this is Ernest Andrews, and he's up to the 30-yard line and picks up 8. And we're coming inside 8 minutes to go.
Ernest Andrews is banged up. Nate Andrews back in the game. For Ernest, looks like a lower leg situation. Play clock down to 7.
Pickup of 9. And yeah, movement on the right side too soon. Looked like it was the tight end that may have moved too soon. The winner of this game will go on to play either Carver or Stanhope Elmore.
Those two teams playing tonight. Carver with the big quarterback that is a commitment to the Auburn Tigers, although he has, I guess, made a statement.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. Remains second down.
Concerning the Gene Chizik situation. That his commitment is tied to.
It's Chizik specific.
Right. That's all very fluid.
Pitch. Kirksey. Hit and stopped at the 45-yard line. 3rd down coming up here. Penalties. This drive, you know, they have 2nd and 1. Got to then go back to 2nd and 6.
But the Warriors got to just keep on playing, like Vic would say. You know, you got to play the next play. You never know what's going to happen if you continue to do what you're supposed to do, like that fumble that happened a drive ago gave the Warriors renewed life. They need something like that right now, but that's not going to happen without the effort.
3rd and 5. Rushing Watson, the receiver, to the bottom of the screen, and motion to the near side is Lassiter. Adams avoids some pressure. Now he's hit, flips it up, hits Odom, and Odom will be dropped with a good open field tackle at the 43-yard line, and 4th down is coming up.
Oh, Nate Andrews got that out of his... I don't know how he got it off and then made it a good, accurate throw, too.
Marquise Simmons on the tackle there.
One thing you see from Nate Andrews, we've noticed this, is just such a competitor. Does not give up on the play ever.
Timeout called for by the Warriors. Hey, we had our encore trivia question earlier in the first half. 1980, the University of North Alabama beat Jacksonville State to clinch their first ever conference title and a berth into the playoffs. Who was the quarterback? The memory still rates the top of this quarterback's mind. It was Fred Riley. It was the final regular season game of the 1980 season for North Alabama in Jacksonville with everything on the line. UNA had the Gamecocks the entire game, only to have the advantage stripped with 1 minute left. Jacksonville State goes for 2. They score and tie it up. But then Fred Riley, the Lions quarterback, went to work. Seconds later, flung a pass to a streaking Jerry Hill in a play that clicked for 83 yards. And Fred Riley took UNA to their first ever conference championship and playoff berth in Division II football.
He's got some of those UNA photos up in the office.
And now Pat Greenwood, now they get to delay a game here. Pat Greenwood.
Well, a couple of things. Ernest Andrews still on the ground, guys. They're working on his knee, and he's still in a lot of pain, so not 100% sure he's going to be able to come back. But did you see that delay of game? Did you see where that snap went?
Yeah, went right up to Brian Bell.
Take a look at Coach Weingarten right now. Not a happy guy, because obviously they're going to go for a fake there, but I would doubt that it happens now.
Boy, and Watson's knee was almost on the ground when he fielded that snap. And it's down at the 15. We'll come back. 6:19 to go. 10-0. Fairhope on top, and the Warriors will get it back 85 yards from pay dirt. A lot of time left, but we have not seen a quick strike. In this one.
No, and this Fairhope defense has been so tough in making Davidson work for everything they get.
Cam Jackson floats it out to the far side. Dees is going to lose a yard on that one.
We going to have to go downfield at some point. They're hoping that they can throw something short, and, you know, it becomes big. Hasn't happened yet.
McGill-Tulane rolling now in their game. Of course, you know that by now. Jackson rolls out, has some time. Now he's going to cut it down. And he's going to be wrapped up and tackled at the 16-yard line. Casey Simmerly, Dan mentioned him, and the good job he's done tonight. Makes the stop there.
Yeah, I mean, from the front to the very back level, this team is solid defensively. Not a ton of speed, but people who are where they need to be know how to wrap up.
Got McGill score 49-26 in the third. 3rd and 8. Well, you're almost in two-down territory here with 5 minutes to go. All kinds of time. Jackson over the middle, and that's tipped.
Yeah.
Nick Patty got his hand on it.
Just too many bodies in between. You see what I'm saying? Dropping back and yeah, he's got time, but he doesn't have any lanes really to fit it in.
Boy, so you got to punt it here. Yeah, just a 3 and out. It's a long time for that ball to get there.
Patty with a good play from the second level. Lassiter back to field the punt, and that's what he's back there to do, simply field the punt.
Again, a whistle prior to the snap. Usually this is on the... Let's see here, Jimbo. Does Fred Riley try? Ooh, it'd be a gutsy call to...
False start.
Now 4th and 13.
Yeah.
Remains 4th down.
About out of the question now, huh?
Zach Farney will stand. 4th false start penalty tonight against the Warriors. Statistician Brian Aaron in playoff form. Look at this formation here. And Farney, good kick. Lassiter, Bear catches it at the 43-yard line. Dan Brennan.
The AHSAA reminds fans that we play a role in the education of our students. Parents, fans, and people in the community all set an example for students, whether they're aware of it or not. Want to help set a positive example in everything you do, both at the games and in your community. Good sportsmanship is what sets your school apart. A message from the Alabama High School Athletic Association.
We see a ton of that on Friday nights. Good sportsmanship.
We do.
Throughout the season.
We sure do.
Just so much respect. You know, I think, get back to that in a second, as the pitch to Kirksey. With so many of our schools so close in proximity and the familiarity with the players, the coaches, the families, I think that adds a lot to it where you're not quite as spread out.
Yeah, we see some interesting dynamics at some games where you can almost feel it. You know, that Viger-Blunt game earlier this season. What a neighborhood battle that was, but it was played with regard for the other guy, for the other team.
Yeah, it was like a, because it really was like some family backyard football there.
Yep, it was.
Davidson has 2 timeouts left. We get the officials timeout here, unless it looks like maybe did Fairhope take a timeout here?
I think you may have an injured player, Jim. I think you do.
Let's see. There we
Pirates.
go. Cam Donaldson heads off, so that stops the clock momentarily.
We could see a lot of Kirksey right here. The big back. Trying to eat away that clock. Move the chains.
Inside give to Andrews to the 39. I was kind of surprised that Fairhope snapped it right away. They had a new play clock, and they snapped it right away. They could have taken it all the way down to about 3:30.
Yeah, they've been pretty good about that.
Now, as Fred Riley takes the time out here.
But things are getting a little desperate for the Warriors now because you need 2 scores, and Adam Weingarten, who looks like he's got all the stress on him of someone who's working in the Garden. Doesn't seem to be, you know, he's coaching a playoff game tonight, but he doesn't doesn't give you the impression he's too concerned about anything, but inside he's churning.
I want to thank our friends, Paige Plash and everyone else at Encore Rehabilitation, who has been sponsoring our trivia questions. Some weeks better than others. Also, Greer's
I'm not going to grade that one.
And Advanced Collision. They have been there each week, fixing your cars, T-shirts, food. Great folks.
Yeah, and since Vic's not here to pay tribute to Robert Greer, I'll do it.
There you go.
Super guy.
3rd and 7. Andrews will keep it to the 35-yard line.
They've kept Andrews away from the contact here in the 4th quarter if they could. But then with the 3rd and long, they're like, well, if we have to, we'll let Nate run the ball. But again, now you're just working the clock. You're 4th and short.
Davidson with
no big hurry.
Yeah, with 1 timeout, and I think Fairhope's going to go for it here. You're kind of in that no man's land. If you punt it, you're probably going to punt it in the end zone. You pick up 12 yards, 13 yards.
Right, and if you get the first down, you might just seal the game.
Andrews will go under center, 4th and 2. Andrews on the left side. He might have a lot more than the first down here as he's to the 22-yard line and knocked out of bounds. Kind of a little reverse pivot.
You know, from the quarterback spot under center, he's done a lot of that tonight. That one just looked like a power play, Jim. To see everybody going in one direction, they're just going to mow people down for Nate Andrews. He stays in bounds, too, which is, you know, like he's not good enough.
Yeah.
He's thinking it through, too.
Talked about he's a smart kid.
He is a competitive guy.
We are now inside 3 minutes to go here. Davidson with 1 timeout. This might be a healthy dose of Kirksey, as you alluded to a moment ago. And he'll take the pitch. So well coached. You see him just come. Was thinking about trying to bounce it to the outside and then said, I'd rather lose a yard.
Right. I'll come right back to the contact.
Yep.
But we're going to burn 40 seconds or so here. See, they're lining up and
got an injured Warrior down on the field. Dante Williams.
That defense has got every right to be exhausted right now for Davidson. They've been on the field a lot.
Especially in the second half.
We're waiting for something to happen in the second half with the Davidson offense. You know, good.
Just really never got it.
Halftime adjustments, halftime talking to, but the Fairhope defense has just been up to any of the challenges. And you mentioned this earlier, explosive plays, too. They just haven't made any.
So 2:34 to go, and we'll be back. .234 left.
He's okay. That's good news.
Dante Williams will make his way off the field, and they'll start the clock back up.
Warrior defense has played well, Jim. They just have not gotten, you know, the help that they expected from the offense. And while Fairhope's been a solid defensive team this year, they haven't pitched many shutouts.
Yeah. Davidson moved the ball in between the 30s. He really just kind of got stood up there, and so they can work this one down to about 2:12 before they snap it on 2nd and 10. Nate Andrews going to keep it. Andrews inside the 15. 3rd down coming up. Boy, 1st down here, and really help salt this one away.
Davidson trying to figure out what they need to do with that final timeout. They put it in their pocket here.
McGill now up 56-26 as they get ready to start the 4th quarter.
56-3.
We're down 10-0 as well. Give Ernest Andrews, and he pushes the pile ahead inside the 10, and he has got the 1st down.
I got to give it to Enterprise, though. They, when we saw them play early in the season at Fairhope, they had radio crew. They had like a TV internet crew.
They had a 2nd radio crew.
With an opposing viewpoint of the other radio crew, evidently. Oh, we were all watching the same game. They brought the media.
I think that program is in for a great run under David Faulkner there.
Yeah. He can put the players in the right position, I can tell you that. Look at this.
Nate Andrews just takes a knee here with a minute to go, and I don't think the Warriors will use their one timeout. It's academic at this point, and I think some people are going to be surprised at this score.
Well, you know, if you just look at the body of work during the year.
Let's get our Scholastic athletes in. Rushing Watson had the big third down reception tonight. 4.2 GPA. Congratulations to him. And Haley Adkins from Davidson, swimming, cross country, and soccer. Got a major in my old major, biomedical engineering.
But of course.
At UAB. And another knee. And I think some people are going to be surprised at the final score here. 10-0.
Don't bet against that kid. I can tell you that. It's a team effort for the Fairhope Pirates. But Nate Andrews, big part of that team.
Fairhope with the win comes over and finishes off the Warriors season. They finish 8-2. Fairhope 7-4. But you just got to live to play one more week. Like you had talked about all, and I think Nate Andrews, you know, if his neck is okay after that first quarter, otherwise I think his hits were limited tonight.
Yep, they were. And Nate and Rushing Watson will have to put basketball off for another week because they're probably the two best hoopsters over there.
Yeah, we're going to go watch one of those games this winter over there in Fairhope as well.
Yeah.
So 10-0, our final score here tonight. Impressive win by Fairhope. And they go on to round two, and let's see a Davidson team bow out in the first round very often.
Fred Riley 5-2 in the first round coming into tonight. The Warriors get bounced. They just could not find any rhythm offensively, especially in the red zone.
Pat Greenwood.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Coach, I saw you into this ball game and raising your hands to the crowd. What does this mean to the crowd? What does this mean to your program?
I think it means a lot to our kids. You know, we've worked really, really hard all year, and Davidson's got a fine football team. We got a lot of respect for their team, and what a great team they have, what a great season they've had. You know, our kids, we've been through a lot of adversity this year. And, you know, like I told our kids, something good's fixing to happen to us because we've grown through it, and I think we're better for all the struggles we've been through. So it's just elation for our kids. Very proud of them.
And how about the shutout?
Our defense played fantastic. You know, you win and compete in championship environments. We're playing great defense, and we certainly did that tonight.
Well, congratulations, Coach. Go enjoy it. You guys, we said before the game, best on the best, and tell you what, this was a great game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And you know, I think it was also indicative of what you see a lot in round one when you get a 2-3 matchup.
Yep, that's why this one was picked, because we knew it was pretty even, but we didn't realize this defense would play that well and limit Cam Jackson and this Davidson offense to 0 big plays. I mean, nothing big downfield, nothing big where Jackson was able to pull it down and make a big play on the run. They just hemmed him up and made Davidson work for everything they could get. And let's face it, once Davidson hit the 30-yard line, it was like a wall. They could never get past it.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I think we forget about a little bit in these playoffs and with high school kids, that almost everybody on that Davidson team, that's a senior. That's their last game.
Yeah, I mean, you've got
the finality.
Kids, right, yeah, the finality's got to be stunning for these kids. And you know, they're hurting right now. But for many, they'll be back. And for Fairhope, they'll be back next week somewhere.
Andrews on the night, 17 carries, 102 yards and a touchdown. Passing, he was 7-12 for 119 yards to get the win. But I think big thing there, Fairhope 27-55 in time of possession. Davidson 20-05, so 8 more minutes in a high school football game that's only 48 minutes long. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, and a lot of that deficit was made in the fourth period when they had the ball most of that period with a 10-point lead.
All right, we will be back for round 2 of high school football next week here on UTV 44. But again, tonight our final score, Fairhope advances on to round 2, a 10-0 win for Jared Kihos in the truck. Pat Greenwood on the sideline, Brian Aaron in the booth, Dan Brennett, Vic Lockett, he's going to be back next week.
We hope.
All right, I'm Jim Cox saying good night from Ladd-Peebles Stadium where the Pirates move on to round 2.